The Chicago Bears, in probably the worst officiated game I've literally seen in my entire life, lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers by a score of 29-27. But more importantly, guys, Justin Fields balled the hell out on the road on primetime and gave Bears fans a lot of hope going forward. What's up, guys? I'm back with the Chicago Bears post-game reaction videos, which I'll be doing after every Bears game this year. So if you guys want to see my reactions to every Bears game, subscribe to this channel. I know this video is coming out to you guys super late. It's actually 1:30 a.m. when I'm recording this because I was on a podcast with Robert Schmitz, which I know a lot of you guys watch. He has a YouTube channel as well covering the Bears. But I was on a podcast with him for like 2 hours after the game ended. So if you guys want to see that podcast, I'll probably leave a link down below whenever he uploads that podcast. But in today's video, I'll be talking about the very promising loss that the Bears had to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I say promising because, guys, I don't think I've ever been this happy after a Bears loss ever. This was a loss that kind of like makes our chances of making the postseason very, very hard. Okay, we don't have a good shot now of making the playoffs because we had to win this game, man. Okay, we're 3-6 now. We got really tough games coming up, and normally, I would be absolutely devastated about that, but our rookie quarterback, Justin Fields, showed the entire world why we picked him so high. He showed the entire world that the Chicago Bears actually, finally, in my opinion at least, have a franchise quarterback, because despite all the BS calls, which I'll talk about in a little bit, going against the Bears the entire night, which not only Bears fans, but even the commentators, even fans of other teams, they were all complaining about the referees, even despite that, despite the limited offensive weapons he has to work with, despite a limited offensive line, despite all of that, he played out of his mind in the second half and put together what I thought was going to be the game-winning touchdown to Darnell Mooney with like very little time left. But obviously then our defense blew it at the end. But even after our defense blew it, guys, he still gave us a small chance to win by setting up Cairo Santos on a 65-yard field goal, which when I first saw that on TV, guys, I thought that was going to be good with how down the middle it was, with how good Cairo Santos has been playing so far this year. Obviously, that was not a made field goal. That would have been insane if he made that to give us a game-winning field goal. But regardless, man, Justin Fields, time and time again throughout this game, didn't matter what calls were going against us, didn't matter what was going against him or what was not working in his favor. He put the Chicago Bears in a position to win this game against a top 10 defense on the road on primetime television. Everybody was watching this game, guys, and everybody was going crazy about the plays that Justin Fields was making. I can't tell you how special that is as a Bears fan to feel those things, okay? To feel like my quarterback is actually a quarterback that a lot of people would want on their team. To feel like my quarterback is actually a potential future star in this league. We have been through so much torture as Bears fans watching all these terrible quarterbacks, and truly feel like, man, especially with that last drive that he put together, okay, not the field goal drive, but that touchdown drive where the game was on the line, man. You were on the road against a hostile crowd with all the calls going against you. When Justin Fields put together those back-to-back plays, first it was a 39-yard pass to A-Rob down the right sideline. Right after that, it was a touchdown pass to Darnell Mooney in the corner of the end zone. When he did those things, guys, when he put together that drive, I truly thought we have something special, because to do these things during your rookie year with such a bad coaching staff, with all the parts working against you, that's not easy whatsoever. A ton of rookie quarterbacks are not able to do those same things, but our rookie quarterback did, okay? If you look at Justin Fields' stats in this game, he had his best game as a Bear by far. So he had 291 passing yards, almost crossing 300 passing yards, which is insane. Like, I don't think we've had a rookie quarterback pass for 300 yards in like a really long time. I can't remember if Mitch did. I don't believe Mitch did, but either way, man, passing 300 yards almost as a rookie is very, very impressive. He had one touchdown pass, but I'll talk about this a little bit later as well. The refs robbed him of one touchdown pass to Jimmy Graham, and the other touchdown pass to Jimmy Graham, Jimmy Graham just straight up dropped. Okay, that was a good ball by Fields, but he had two touchdowns pretty much taken away from him. So it really should be 3 touchdowns. He only had 1 touchdown that counted. He did have 1 interception, which he I would say kind of got unlucky with. I know he shouldn't have thrown the ball that low, I guess, but he threw the ball to a I think it was a defensive lineman, right? And the defensive lineman got his hands up and pretty much just snatched the ball away. So that was the 1 pick that he had. And passer rating of 89.9. If you look at the rushing stats, then he had 8 carries for 45 yards as well. So he was again active using his feet. Okay, there were a lot of option plays that he ran with. There actually were more design quarterback runs as well, which tip of the hat to whoever designed those, okay? Because I wanted to see Justin Fields be able to run more with the football. So he had the opportunity to run with the football. He was also just running with the football when the plays were breaking down. So with his legs, man, Justin Fields definitely did do a lot of damage, which is exactly what I wanted to see into this game. Okay, the Steelers knew that Justin Fields was probably going to run with the football. They still were really not able to stop him on the ground. Okay, 8 carries for 45 yards. That's pretty great for a quarterback. So as a runner, he was elite, but as a passer, man, this is the first game where I feel like he truly did impress a lot of people. Okay, he made a bunch of tight window throws as well, some to Cole Kmet, guys, which, by the way, guys, Cole Kmet, this was probably his breakout game in the NFL, because time and time again, guys, on such a big stage, he was making fantastic catches for his rookie quarterback. Okay, down the seam, he had a big conversion. I think, I don't remember if it was on 3rd down, but it was a very good throw by Fields. You know, give your big body tight end a chance to catch the football, and he came down with it. So that was a beautiful catch by Kmet. He was also going down the sideline on one. I think he had like a 25-yard play down the left sideline where Fields got the ball to him in space. So there was a lot of plays that Cole Kmet made in this game, guys. He had 6 receptions for 87 yards. So definitely one of the best games he's had in the NFL up to this point. So really happy to see kind of the breakout game out of Cole Kmet. I feel like we haven't been using him that much in this offense, and I feel like Bears fans have kind of gave up on him a little bit too early, because this guy is still only 22 years old. Now, I recognize that he's probably never going to be a Travis Kelce, Darren Waller type of tight end, but he played damn good tonight, guys. Okay, being very good as a blocker as well. So I was really happy with the performance of Cole Kmet. But if you look at what else happened in this game, man, I feel like Justin Fields through the air, he was finding a lot of guys open. He had a big pass down the field to Marquise Goodwin as well. It was slightly underthrown, but man, those are the type of big plays that our offense has been craving, that our offense has not been able to get. And Justin Fields got multiple of those plays in this game. Okay, there were a lot of explosive plays, a lot of 20-plus yard completions. And it seemed like Justin Fields was just so comfortable being in the pocket. Okay, he had some moments, obviously, where he wasn't looking the most comfortable. He got TJ Watt sacking him multiple times on some, I feel like, poorly designed plays, but also some plays where Fields could have identified, you know, the blitzing linebackers. So there were some mistakes by Fields in this game. There were some moments where he didn't look the most comfortable in the pocket. But for the majority of this game, guys, I saw a young quarterback take that next step forward in his development. Okay, a quarterback that was standing in the pocket and throwing darts down the field against a pretty good defense. And the main thing also was that he wasn't just targeting one receiver. He wasn't just being like a one-read quarterback. He was spreading the ball out to pretty much everybody on this team. Marquise Goodwin had a big play. Jimmy Graham had a big play. Cole Kmet had a big play. Allen Robinson had a big play. Darnell Mooney had a big play. He was finding everybody down the field, which as a rookie quarterback, that's not the easiest thing to do, okay? Especially in a system where it feels like we can't get a lot of our guys wide open, but in this game, we definitely could, okay? If you look at the total yards the Bears had in this game, it was phenomenal, okay? By far our best offensive performance. We had 414 total yards in this game. As a Bears fan, that is just completely insane. I can't even wrap my head around putting this performance on such a good top 10 defense. Okay, according to all the metrics, the Steelers were a top 10 defense. So doing what we did was really, really impressive. Okay, we got the running game going as well because we had 136 rushing yards in this game too. So David Montgomery, he was back in this game. He had 13 carries for 63 yards. Khalil Herbert was getting involved here and there as well. But we also got a lot of rushing yards out of our quarterback, Justin Fields too. So I think that overall, man, like, I'm not really mad at the offense for this game because they put together a very good performance for the most part. Obviously, they got out to a very slow start. They scored 0 in the first quarter, only 3 at the half. So you got to get out to better starts in the future. They had some illegal formations. They had way too many penalties, which that's another reason why I still feel like Matt Nagy should be fired, because our guys are just, it seems like we're so undisciplined, okay? We're always lining up off sides. We have these illegal formations. We sometimes don't know what we're doing. We're calling, you know, timeouts all the time for no reason. So it still wasn't a completely perfect performance, but considering the circumstances, guys, and how many points were robbed from us in this game by the referees, which is what I'll talk about next, this was a pretty damn good performance by the Chicago Bears offense. But getting to the referees, guys, look, I don't want to put all of the blame on the refs for this loss, but that's kind of what I'm going to do, because they robbed us of so many points in this game for absolutely BS reasons. And the commentators, fans of other teams, they all agree with us Bears fans. So that's not us Bears fans just being biased. That's literal facts, okay? All the calls were going against the Chicago Bears. There are way too many bad plays to outline in this video, so I'm just going to mention the biggest ones. But probably one of the biggest ones, guys, obviously was that call on James Daniels, okay? It was such a stupid call where there wasn't even much contact he made with the defender, but they called him there for going low, and they wiped out a touchdown pass to Jimmy Graham, which was, by the way, a beautiful find by Justin Fields in the corner of the end zone, okay? Completely changing, you know, the momentum in that game, because we had such a good drive going there, and we still couldn't put the ball into the end zone because the refs just took away some points from us, okay? So that was 4 points that got completely taken away from us for no reason whatsoever. So we settled for a field goal instead. But then the second half, guys, on defense, we had so many calls going against us. There was a defensive pass interference call on Jalen Johnson where I don't know what else Jalen Johnson is supposed to do there, okay? He obviously didn't get his head turned around fully, but he wasn't making much contact with the receiver. I think even the commentators mentioned that that should not have been a penalty, okay? That was pretty good coverage by Jalen, and if you can't do that as a DB, like, what else can you actually do, okay? That's impossible to play defense in this league. So that missed call led to 3 points for the Pittsburgh offense, because otherwise they were about to stall. It was going to be, you know, 4th down. They're about to punt. So that led to 3 more free points for the Steelers. And after that, guys, probably one of the stupidest calls I've ever seen in my entire life. Cassius Marsh, after getting a beautiful sack against his former team. Okay, Cassius Marsh used to be on the Steelers, I think maybe this year, and we picked him up. He was going up against his old team. He had a phenomenal sack on 3rd down to force the punt. But for simply looking at the Steelers sideline, not even saying anything whatsoever, he got called for a taunting penalty. That is the dumbest shit I've seen in my entire life. And I don't care what the NFL thinks. That is the stupidest fucking rule that exists in the NFL right now. Absolutely nobody likes the taunting rule. Okay, let these guys talk. Let these guys show emotion. In this case, our player didn't even do anything. He was just looking at the sideline, and because that ref wanted to be a bitch, they called a taunting penalty, giving the Steelers a 1st down. Is this really what you want to see, NFL? You want to see games decided by stupid stuff like this, not by the plays on the field, okay? Not by the players making fantastic plays. You want to see games decided by stupid, silly stuff like this. That is just, it just blows my mind why the NFL thinks this is a good rule. So obviously that taunting penalty led to 3 points for the Steelers, because we still got the stop eventually, but that would not have been in field goal range without the penalty. So that's another 3 free points for the Steelers, which if you guys are keeping count now, that is 13 free points that the referees gave to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's not even counting all the other bad calls in this game, okay? The roughing the passer calls that Justin Fields never is able to get. Those would have extended so many more of our drives. There are other bad calls too, but those were the most egregious ones, and they changed the outcome of this game. And like I've been mentioning, the entire NFL world is talking about how badly the Bears got robbed. It's not only Bears fans, okay? Commentators were talking about it. I remember, I think Louis Riddick on the postgame show, he was like, this was a very one-sided affair when it came to the officials, okay? They were calling all the penalties against the Chicago Bears, some for absolutely no reason whatsoever. We had fans from other teams even talking about this. So, I mean, everybody in plain sight could see the Chicago Bears got robbed in this game, and it's one of the major reasons why we lost this game. Obviously, our defense faltered late, which led to a game-winning field goal for the Steelers. So we did make some bad plays as well. You know, DaWindyCity got mossed multiple times by a lot of different receivers. So our defense, honestly, was not the best in this game. And even our offense starting out, we could not put the ball in the end zone. We started out with way too many 3-and-outs. So it's not like the Bears played a perfect game, but we definitely outplayed the Steelers in this game. Our rookie quarterback had the go-ahead touchdown, and we could have easily won this if the officiating was in any way fair. Which that's another reason, guys, why I'm not totally mad about this loss, is because the Bears played well enough to win this game, guys. Okay, on the road, on primetime against a top defense, we did what we could, but the refs robbed us of the chance to win. So the NFL should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. This is just flat out egregiously bad officiating, and they're not going to do anything to the officials because they never punish bad officials. So it's going to continue, you know, in future weeks as well. So it's really sucks to see because I love this sport, I love this game, but it gets ruined by bad refs far too often. Those are pretty much the main things I wanted to say in this video. Obviously, I didn't talk about that special teams touchdown, which completely changed the game for the Chicago Bears. Joel Iyiegbuniwe with the, you know, with the fumble forced, and, you know, DHC with the fumble recovery and the touchdown. That was one of the biggest moments of the Bears' entire season up to this point. That completely changed the game, because otherwise we probably would have lost, definitely because we punted the ball away with like not much time left and our defense wasn't getting stopped. So Joel Iyiegbuniwe and DHC, they changed this game and potentially could have changed our season, but unfortunately we could not win the game. But still a phenomenal play on special teams. If I turn over to the defense, and I'll talk about this briefly, but our defense flat out wasn't good enough today, guys. Okay, obviously we had some things going well for us in this game. We had multiple stops that we did force in the middle of this game to give our team a chance to come back. So it wasn't like all bad. We also only allowed 280 total yards, but we weren't good in the red zone, guys. Like multiple times to start out this game, you know, DaWindyCity was getting mossed, or this guy was getting lost, and it was like a cornerbacking trio was just not good enough to really compete with some of the top tier receiving cores in the NFL. And the Steelers also don't even have a good offense, guys. Like the Steelers offense was bottom 10 entering this game. They scored 29 points on us. That's not good enough at all for the Chicago Bears defense. We were missing Khalil Mack. We were missing Eddie Jackson as well. So those are obviously two big name players that could have turned this game in our favor, but we didn't have them and we didn't play good enough to withstand the loss of them. So that's pretty much all I want to say in this video, guys. Okay, a very hard-fought game by the Bears. If the referees were in any ways capable of doing their jobs, we would have won this game because we played good enough to win this game. We outplayed the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road. Our rookie quarterback looked like a stud. Our offense scored a lot of points. We gained a lot of yards, but sadly, we still could not get the dub. But I'm not stressing this game out a lot, guys, because I'm actually pretty happy after this loss. I know the season is looking, you know, in jeopardy now. Like, we might not make the playoffs, but I truly feel like Chicago, we have found our franchise quarterback. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below, guys. But as always, bear down.